How to forget a past love? How do you forget a past love? How do you get over somebody that you've already left, people that you've had a connection with, and how do you forget a past love? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whichever part of the world you're watching from. My name is Denzo Mose Unscripted, and I'm here to break down to you the ways you can use, the methods you can use to forget a past love. Now, if you're coming new to this channel, if it's your first time watching me, I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to the content. If you've been with me before, you're most welcome back. Now, today's subject is going to be specifically how to forget a past love. This has come to me as a surprise because as I was reading through my emails, some friends of mine got to me, and about 2 or 3 friends of mine got to me, and they were struggling to forget their past lives, their past loves, their past relationships. They can't move on, and they're just struggling to, get themselves back together. And that exactly motivated me to come here today and speak about this and make a few points on this, and to assist those friends of mine on the way forward and the things that they're supposed to do, or how they can move on from there. Now, guys, we need to remind ourselves that all of us and each and every one of us has, at one point in time, got involved in a relationship. So we have had a relationship and we've been in love with people who we have loved deeply, and who, some of those people, we have actually thought that they have been our soulmates, they have been our twin flames, they are our life partners, and it just happens that it never turned out like that. So it was just not the way we thought it was. So either way, things turned around and we all went our ways. Now, most of the time, we realize that when we move on with our lives after a breakup, after a relationship, we break up and we move on with our lives. Most of the time, it can be very difficult to move on, to start to love again, to start to trust again, to start to be happy again, to enjoy the new benefits of a new relationship and enjoy the new benefits of life in itself. And that becomes a really big problem. And because one way or the other, we have had previous relationships that we cannot tend to forget about. It is the same reason that motivated to me after listening to one of my friends that I'm here today, and I'm going to break down the ways you can forget about a first love. Now, without wasting time, I'm going to dig into the very first thing, the very first way you can use to forget a past love. Number 1, it is developing and having the attitude of gratitude. Now, you need to understand, guys, that always, each and everything that happens in our lives, the people we meet, the people we get in contact with, the people who cross our paths, they are all in divine order. All of those people, they are not an accident. They have all appeared in our lives according to divine order. So it is not a coincidence that those people come into our lives. So we are supposed to have that attitude of gratitude, whereby we are supposed to be grateful for the universe that those people actually came to us. And those people that they have actually come into our lives, and one way or the other, we need to always understand that those people, because there are no accidents and coincidences in the universe. So those people come into our lives particularly to teach us a special or a specific lesson. So we're supposed to be grateful. Instead of complaining and resenting about ourselves, we are always supposed to be grateful that actually those people came into our lives and they have stayed into our lives for a certain period of time, and then eventually they have gone their way, or we have gone our way, and we have broken up or we're separated with them. So we're supposed to be grateful that they have come into our lives, gather ourselves, pick up, learn from the lessons, all those things you've been doing together, learn from those lessons you've learned in that relationship, and that is one way you'll be able to move on with yourself and to start a new self, a new love, and to start a new chapter with your life and to carry on with your life. The second one, I would advise that if somebody is having a hard time to forget a past love, they need to practice what they call the conscious separation. Now, the conscious separation is that way whereby if you've separated with somebody and you find yourself that even after years, like 1, 2, 3, 4 years, after a very long period of time, you just can't forget about those people. You need to practice what they call the conscious separation. Now, if it also happens that those people, they are very far away from you, so they are miles and kilometers away from you, so you cannot get in touch with each other, you can always do that on the phone, or you can always do that on the, there are always all these media platforms. You can use Skype or whatever, Facebook or Instagram. So you can always try to get in touch with them and be able to communicate effectively. What are those things? First of all, what are the reasons? You need to understand, remind yourselves, what are the reasons in the first place that brought the two of you together? When you understand the reasons that brought the two of you together, then you're supposed to move on to the reasons that actually what led to the separation. That's what they call conscious separation, so that you don't separate in anger, like you separate and everybody goes their way and you end up fighting with each other. You start sending yourselves very bad, text messages. You start writing to each other insults. You start to insult each other. Sometimes you want to fight each other. That's not the way it's supposed to be. For you to be able to forget a past love, somebody you've been in love with, somebody you've been having a relationship with, and for you to be able to move on with your life, you're supposed to practice the conscious way of separation, whereby if you have the capacity or the capability to meet those people again, you should give yourself the opportunity to sit down with them and discuss the very first reasons why you guys came in close contact together in the first place. How did you guys meet? What brought you together? What were the reasons that you guys had the connection? So when you establish those reasons now, then you also, in the same way, establish the same reasons why you guys have actually separated. What were the causes of that separation? Because the idea is, the logic is that when you understand those reasons that brought you guys together and the same reason that separated you guys together, they separated the both of you, it is the only way you're going to have something what they call a closure. So you're going to get some kind of a closure, which closure is actually going to help you to move on with your life successfully and effectively. My point number 3. You need to understand always, and you need to remind yourself that some relationships are not just meant to be. So there are those kind of relationships that we are going to struggle with. You're just going to struggle to let go of something. You cannot let go. You are emotionally attached. I've just done a video about a soul tie recently. Your souls are connected with other people spiritually, emotionally. So you just can't let go. And that's actually what causes that incident whereby you cannot forget the past love. So some relationships, you need to understand that they're just not meant to be. So it doesn't always mean that the people we meet in our lives, the people who stay in our lives, they're always the people who are going to stay with us forever. So because sometimes it just happens that those people, they're not our soulmates. And sometimes either way, it just happens that those people, they're also not our twin flames. So they are just not meant to be. They're not meant to be with us. Most of the time, the relationships, people come into contact to learn from each other, to share with each other some of the good times, and then at the end of the day, everybody goes their way and they carry on with their lives. So you just have to get that in your senses, in your mindset, that there are some relationships that are actually not meant to be. So when you understand yourself and you realize that some of those partners, they have left your life for a reason, because the reason why they're actually leaving your life is for them to create space for you to meet your actual soulmate or your actual partners that are meant to be with you. Because there are some of these relationships that we stick, or we fight for, they're not worth fighting for, and those people, they're actually not meant to be with us. So when you realize that, you're going to be able to forget that past love. You're going to understand it and take it for what it is, that those are not your true life partners. You just have to let them go and let each other go, and you're going to be able to forget that past love and move on with your life. My 4th point I can talk about is you need to practice. When you've separated with somebody, you've been with somebody in a relationship and you've been together, you need to practice something what they call forgiveness. You have got to completely forgive, because usually when we are with people that are not meant to be in our lives, we tend to struggle a lot, we tend to argue a lot, we tend to fight a lot, we tend to abuse each other, we tend to do so many things. So many things that are not in our interest, in the both of our interests. So all that happens is that you need to always practice what they call forgiveness. When those people leave your life, do not resent and do not ever, because the only secret that can help someone out there to move on with their lives and to forget the people they have been with, the people from their past love, their past boyfriends or girlfriends, wives or husbands, it is the only thing you can do and always remind yourself is practicing something what they call practicing something what they call forgiveness. Forgive them completely from the bottom of your heart. Yes, they have hurt you, they have done so many bad things to you, they have caused you a lot of pain, they have done all sorts of things to you, but the very first secret to moving on and to be able to forget about them is to learn that you are supposed to actually forgive them before you can move on. Because even if you do not forgive them, when you meet a new partner, a new boyfriend or girlfriend, when you meet somebody new, you are going to carry that baggage with you, because you have not been able to forgive each other completely. So you're going to carry that baggage with you to the new relationship, and it's going to usually affect your new relationship. So always remind yourselves that it is very important to forgive that person. Whatever they have done to you, however bad it looks like, however nasty it is, you always have to have the heart to forgive, because it is only through forgiving that you're able to forget about those people and carry on with your life. So the fifth point I can talk about is you need to step out of your ego, because guys, I've always talked about ego, and I always talk about ego. For you to live your best life and for somebody to move on with a comfortable, successful life, you cannot live in your ego. So ego is that state whereby you always think that there is no life after a relationship. You always have that belief that, well, these people have been with me for some time, I can let them go, I can forget about them. But this whole thing is not because you're actually in love with those people. The only thing what is happening in your mind, in your deepest mind, is just because the ego is telling you that no, those are the only people supposed to be with you. That's the only guy meant for you. It's the only woman meant for you. But guys, I've always said that it's not always like that. When you're doing that, you're just living in your ego, and you just can't let yourself or accept yourself to move on and find somebody new, or even heal first and practice self-love and find somebody new. So you always have to learn how to step out of your ego. I've done a video about ego and how to kill or override your ego recently. If it helps you guys, you can always go back to that video and you can watch it. You're going to learn a lot of things from that. So that's my fifth point, whereby I'm trying to say that you need to step out of your ego and stop believing that there's no life after a relationship. There's always life after a relationship, and there are always people waiting for you at the other side of the road. So there's no reason for you to believe that you're supposed to stick into a relationship that's actually not serving you. You need to accept yourself to move on. You need to know that anything that is trying to get you back in an old relationship, usually most of the cases, is because of the ego. It's the ego just telling you that no, you need to go back, you need to try to make it work. It will be okay, try go back there, see if it works or this and that. But guys, you need to always remind yourself that if you let something go, the secret to something coming back to you is first of all letting it go. So when you let it go, usually when it comes back to you, that means that it was for you. If it never comes back to you, that means it was never meant for you in the first place. So you need to always understand how ego works, and understand that most of the times, most of these relationships we have, most of the times they are ego based. So they are just, we were just within our egos, we're just thinking that they are our soulmates, they are our life partners, they are our twin flames. But most of the cases, guys, it's just not the way it is, and that's not the way it works. So just step out of your ego, understand it for what it is, and accept it for what it looks like. You'll be able to move on with life, and you'll be able to forget a past love. Now, my last point I want to talk about is living in the present moment. Most of the time is very, very important, guys. You need to understand, I need to explain to you something, that if you keep on living in the past, most of the things that have happened before, and you keep on living in the past experiences, always thinking about the past experiences, that causes you depression. And when you're always thinking about the future things, that what is going to happen tomorrow, who is going to be my next wife, who is going to be my next girlfriend, who is going to be that. So when you keep on always thinking about those things, those kind of incidents cause anxiety. So you're going to find yourself depressed and anxious at the same time. So you need to remind yourself always that it's very important to stay in that current moment, to get fully aligned and look at the thing in front of you, not the thing what you've left behind, and not the thing that you're thinking about, not somebody you've left behind, and not somebody you're thinking about meeting in the future. And that is the only way you're going to be able to live in that present moment and captivate and step into that moment, the place you are, the exact events that's happening at that exact moment. It is the only way you're going to realize that you're going to enjoy the benefits of life, because you are not going to miss the small events. You might actually miss somebody who is meant for you because you are thinking about somebody from the past, or you may not be able to see somebody who is coming into your life. Somebody you may be see. I can give you a scenario whereby you may be seated in a restaurant, or for example a cafe or something. You're having a coffee and somebody will come in front of you. It can be waiter, it can be waitress, it can be somebody may come to serve you a meal, but that person may actually be your future partner. So because you're not living in the present moment, you're not going to be able to see that the person who is in front of you is actually the person that the universe has sent to be in your life. So you're going to miss that moment, because you're not going to realize that the person actually that has just spoken to you or has just crossed your path is the person meant for you. So you're supposed to always align yourself and make sure that you absorb yourself in the present moment and look at the thing in front of you. And you need to stop worrying about the past, because it's going to cause you depression. Then you also need to stop think about the future, because it's going to cause you anxiety. So guys, those are my points. It's just 6 points I want to talk about that can help you forget your past love. There can be many of them, but these are the ones I've come up with today. And guys, that being said, it's Denzo Moz Unscripted. I've always dedicated my page to break empaths free and to help the lost souls really understand who they are and get them out of whatever situation they're in that is not favoring them and is not serving them, through informing them and empowering them, helping them become their best, become their better version. So guys, that being said, it's been a very beautiful day, and I've really been excited to share with you guys. Until then, guys, it's been a blessing to have you on board. Peace out and love you all, guys, and see you in my next video. Take care now. Cheers.